During a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said Australia has a keen interest in China's continued growth and international engagement. What specifically does Australia hope to gain from China's continued stable growth and ongoing engagement with the world? China is Australia's largest trading partner, accounting for nearly 40% of its exports and providing a vital market for its commodities, such as iron ore, coal, and natural gas. However, China is also Australia's most assertive strategic competitor, challenging its interests and values in the region and beyond. China has imposed a series of trade sanctions on Australian products, such as barley, wine, beef, and lobster, in response to Australia's perceived interference in its internal affairs and support for the US-led international order. But the question here is, how can Australia balance its relationship with China and the US, given their increasingly competitive relationship? What are the key priorities for Australia in its reset with China? And what are the potential risks and benefits of Australia's renewed engagement with China? Let's find out. Welcome back to another video on our channel, bringing you news on major world powers, as well as the changing influences they are having in areas such as military, economy, and politics. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about the latest activities occurring on the world stage, especially involving the growing world powers and the influences these major world powers have, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will discuss the problem Australia faces in trying to balance its relationship with China and the US, given their increasingly competitive relationship, including its key priorities for Australia in its reset with China. Let's get started. Australia is facing a delicate diplomatic challenge as it tries to improve its strained relations with China while maintaining its alliance with the United States. The two superpowers are locked in a strategic rivalry that has implications for the security and prosperity of the Indo-Pacific region. Australia, as a middle power and a key US ally, has been caught in the conflict of their escalating tensions. Australia has been vocal in criticizing China's human rights violations in Xinjiang and Hong Kong, calling for an independent inquiry into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic, banning Huawei from its 5G network, and joining the Quad security dialogue with the US, Japan, and India. Australia has also enhanced its defense cooperation with the US and other like-minded partners, such as the UK and France, to counter China's growing military presence and actions in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. Australia seeks communication with and reset with China, while balancing ties with the US as well. It recognizes that a constructive engagement with China is essential for its economic recovery and regional stability. It seems to now not want to choose sides between the US and China, but rather to pursue its own national interests and values. It hopes to resume dialogue with China at all levels and to address their differences through respectful and open discussions. It also wants to explore areas of common interest and cooperation with China, such as climate change, health security, and development assistance. However, Australia also reaffirms its commitment to its alliance with the US, which it considers as its most important strategic partner and a guarantor of peace and freedom in the region. It supports the US's engagement in the Indo-Pacific and to work with allies and partners to uphold what the West call a rules-based order that respects sovereignty, human rights, and international law. It welcomes the US's willingness to cooperate with China on global challenges such as climate change and pandemic response, but also expects the US to deter and respond to China's so-called coercive and aggressive actions that threaten regional security. Australia's balancing act between the US and China is not easy or risk-free. It requires a clear-eyed assessment of its interests and values with a subtle understanding of the dynamics of the US-China relationship and a flexible approach to managing its ties with both powers. It also requires a strong communication strategy that conveys its positions and perspectives to both domestic and international audiences. Australia's success or failure in this endeavor will have significant implications for its future role and influence in the Indo-Pacific. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure to subscribe.